G'day, welcome to Roy's Racing, the channel for mediocre sim racers everywhere. Today we're headed off to the Miami Grand Prix, so we're in Florida, tropical Florida. This is a new track, it's not a track that I've ever driven on before, and I don't think I'm going to be particularly fast on it, so that makes me a little bit nervous for how we're going to go. But still, we're going to have some fun on this track. Now, if you haven't already watched it, how about you go and watch the previous race, which was at Imola. Now, we had a great strategy there. We got lots of points out of that one, and it's actually bumped us right up in the championship. So we're sitting, I think it's 6th or 7th in the Constructors and in 10th place in the Drivers' Championship. So go and check that one out before you watch this one, so that you're at least keeping up with where we're at and what's going on. So we're just setting up our activities that we'll do in between races here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to focus on our teammate, Oscar Piastri. So we're going to do some reaction training, we're going to do some PR for him, and we're going to do some driver promotion filming. We're also going to do some power equipment upgrades, so that finishes off all of our time in between the races. Looking at R&D now, what we can see here is that we're the third bottom car. We're not far behind, but our car is not good. We're slowly working our way up and getting closer to the guys ahead of us. And we're just going to look into what R&D we can actually do at the moment. I'm not sure if I want to do that front nose thing. Like, we haven't got any discounts available for that one yet. So maybe when we do a few practice programs, we might earn some discounts. I don't know if I want to do that one just yet. And the wheel rim covers in aerodynamics, we might do that, but I just want to have a look around to see what else is available, because we really actually do need to focus on the chassis and on our powertrain, because coming out of the corners at the moment, there's a bug in the game where the AI cars are actually much faster as they come out of the slow speed corners. So what we might do is we might start by pumping something into the chassis where we're going to move the ERS batteries around and do a bit of weight redistribution, and then we'll have a look and see what else we've got left over. Looking there, I'd love to pump some research points into the ECU. We use up our battery far too fast and we never seem to have any ERS to use on track, so that'd be cool, but we don't have the resource points for that one at the moment. So we might go back into the aero and do those wheel rim covers just so that we can keep some development coming through. So we'll throw some money into that, or some research points into that one, I think, and that leaves us with one point. So I think we're done for this session. So what you can see there, we are, as you can see, the third lowest car. We're working up there, so the gap is actually narrowing, although when you look at McLaren, they've chucked some research points in at the moment. I don't know where they're getting that R&D points from. So the next thing we're going to do is, you can see we've got $1.6 million to spend. Now at this stage, the personnel things don't work. The bonuses that they're supposed to give, the game's buggy and it doesn't have those things working. But what I believe will work is to put some money into upgrading our pit equipment so that we have less chance of our pit crews causing us drama in a race. And that did hurt us a couple of races back. So I'm hoping that will mitigate that particular issue in future races once that comes online. So there we have the current standings. So you can see we're sitting in 10th place in the drivers' standings because we've had 2 points finishes. And we were not expecting to be anywhere near that high at this stage of the championship. We're only 4 races in, but we'll take that. And we've got a developing rivalry coming there with the Haas drivers. So we're going to see how that one plays out in this next race. So moving time forward now, we're getting ready to go into our race. We're going to do another Pirelli hot lap before we go into Miami, and I'll show you that one as it happens. I don't know if I'll do the whole thing. I'll just show you the finish of it and the result of it. So here we are in this tight twisty section as we go underneath the freeway at Miami here. I reckon that's pretty cool because we're going underneath sort of main roads and we're driving through. It's a street circuit. It's a car park. It's totally cool, this track. Although that marina section there, that is a bit naff. I've got to say, I just don't know why they bothered. So here we are. We're braking hard now into this last left-hander here before we came into the the acceleration zone onto the main straight. We're getting really, really close. I think we might actually manage to get gold here. But gee whiz, it's going to be tight. But, oh yeah, we got it. We got gold. So, yeah, that's going to be, I think it's another $100,000 cash. And is it 1,000 acclaim points? Yeah, $100,000 cash and 1,000 acclaim points. That's, you have no idea. That's going to be so useful to us. So we're into qualifying now. So this is our first qualifying lap in Q1. And at the moment, I've got no idea how we stack up against the other cars. Although I will say, in practice, we were well down the grid. So far down the grid. And I have no reason to believe that qualifying is actually going to have us any further up. But we're giving it our best shot here. And we're coming along at the end of this straight. It's that left-hander again onto the start-finish complex there, past the grandstands, and it's a, you know, it's a lap. Although seeing that Hamilton, the lap he's done, and I think we're, you know, over a second behind. Now, you know, at the moment that's going to leave us. Yeah, you can see there that's leaving us way down the order. We're in 17th place. We're even behind our teammate. Not much, but we are behind, and. Yeah, now Alonso's actually set a time that's faster. So we're going to go out and have another go. And we're going to try and set a faster time this time. The track's rub it in a little bit, and we're being just a little bit more aggressive and trying to stay better on the racing line and not try and overdrive the car. I think I was pushing too hard in that first qualifying lap. But you can see we're actually already a tenth or so up, but we lost a lot of time through there. Getting up on the curbs does not help. But we are still gaining a bit of time, and we're not pushing so hard through here and trying to keep it tight and steady. And we actually gained over 3/10 just through that little section there. And we're just going to try and hold on to those gains. But it's those little things on this track that we just keep getting just a little bit wrong. And look, there again, we've just gone up the curve. And look at, it's cost us over a tenth there. And this tight little section here, particularly this little left hand here and then the right hand, that's actually a really difficult section, but I did it a lot better this time. But then we come onto this main straight here and we lose a lot of time against the AI cars here because they come off slow speed corners so much better than the player car. And that actually may make it tricky when we're coming into the race, because even if we're trying to chase somebody and catch them, they're going to get a jump on us down the straight, and even the DRS and ERS might not be enough to help us catch up. But nonetheless, we're almost 4/10 up there, and that's still not enough, I don't think. No, we ended up in 20th place, and that's us out of qualifying. 20th place. Our car is so much better than that. I'm just not driving the thing as well as I should be. But it is what it is. And seeing as we're so far down, we're actually going to go and take extra engine components. We're going to go and add a bunch more, take the penalties, because we're at the back of the grid. All I'm going to do is lose 2 places. So why not just go and get one extra of everything that we're going to use during the season, and it might pay dividends for us later, particularly as we develop the car. So that's what we've done. It means we're going to start dead last.
Welcome to the Miami International Autodrome, home of the Miami Grand Prix. This exciting track circumnavigates the Hard Rock Stadium, home to the NFL outfit, the Miami Dolphins. Sitting at the southeastern coast of Florida, the Miami International Autodrome has 19 corners and 3.36 miles of racing. It's a circuit designed to encourage close racing while meeting the highest safety standards. Either way, I am sure it's one which will please the fans. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator, Carlos Sainz, completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, George Russell, and Perez. Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Magnussen and Lando Norris, Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Pierre Gasly and Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Zhou, Sebastian Vettel and Alex Albon, Stroll, Oscar Piastri. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, Latifi and Ava. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you here with us today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
So here we are, we're setting up our strategy, and we're going to go for one heck of a Hail Mary here. This might be IQ 0 or IQ 300 this play, but we're going to go on a two-stopper. So we're going to start on the soft tyres and see if we can get ourselves up the field and get up there far enough in the first couple of stints to offset the extra pit stop that we have to do. So anyway, gridding up now, last place. It just doesn't feel right to start at the back of the grid. I know it's because we took a penalty, but we're still just so slow, and I'm not confident for this race. But we're ready to go. We've gridded up, perfect parking there. So we're ready to go. Revs are up, all the lights are going, and we're off. And we've got another really good start. We're coming up past all of the other drivers here. So even though we're still, here we go, we're starting to come up. Big yeet up the inside here, but that gains us, I think, 6 or 7 places. We were in 22nd place when we started the race. We're now up to 16th place. So we've gained 6 places off the start, and we didn't hit anybody. But there was some dramas up at the front of the grid. I'm sure I saw some debris flying off there. So let's have a look and see what happened. So we've got both Ferraris get away okay, but then, they've come together. So that's Leclerc's gone right into Sainz, and then Sainz trying to avoid, he's taken evasive action, and then Hamilton's hit him. So Hamilton's got a broken front wing. And gee whiz, was that Sainz having a bit of a moment there? But he seems to have recovered, and he's actually come well up the inside of Hamilton there, but Hamilton's not having any of it. Broken wing or no broken wing, he's going to fight. He's a 7-time world champion here, my friend. But look how far ahead Leclerc is already. I don't think he's got any damage out of that incident because he's disappearing into the distance. But no! I can't believe it. He was driving away from them. Why has his team called him in? They've done it again. Ferrari, I think, has it in for Leclerc because it's the 5th race in a row where something's gone wrong for him. Their strategy is failing. But meanwhile, we're back. Oh, gee whiz, riding with us there. We had to take evasive action down the right-hand side there. But we've actually gone past Ricciardo and Tsunoda in the same corner. I think they got brake checked by Mick Schumacher in front of them here. And it's given us the opportunity to come up the right-hand side there and go past them. So now we're coming back onto this back straight. And we're coming back onto the main start-finish section now. And we're consolidating our position here in front of Ricciardo. Gee whiz, same thing happened there. So Mick Schumacher's run wide, and we've taken the opportunity to jump up the inside. Now we're watching Ricciardo. So he's got Mick Schumacher in his sights now, because it looks like he got Schumacher sometime during that lap after we did. But then Mick Schumacher's come up to have another go coming off that straight there in the DRS zone. And they've come side by side, but it hasn't worked. But now they're back onto the back straight here, that long back straight. And they've got the DRS and ERS. Ricciardo's squeezing him to the right, but he's given him enough racing room, and they haven't touched. And has Schumacher managed to get past him here? No, he hasn't. So Ricciardo's still managing to hang on to 12th place there. We're in 11th place, and this battling has actually given us a chance to make a little bit of a gap there. But Schumacher has another look up the left there, but there's just no room. Ricciardo squeezed that over to the left and no, you're not coming past here, mate. So anyway, we're on lap 4 now, and Ricciardo and Schumacher are still going hard at it. Schumacher's now coming up the inside of him here, and Has he managed to get the position? No, Ricciardo's managed to stay with him and stay in front. But look how far ahead we've gotten now. We're 3 seconds in front of this. This is great news for us. But now, here we are, still on lap 4, but we're coming up to the end of that long back straight now, and Schumacher's having another go at Ricciardo. This is a heck of a battle early on in the race here. This is where all of the excitement is. And they're side by side as they come down the start-finish straight there. And Ricciardo, once again, I think has hung on to the position there just about. Yeah, he has. But now we're on lap 5, again coming onto that back straight. Schumacher's having a go around the outside this time. Ricciardo squeezes him but gives him room, and they give each other enough racing room, and I think that's enough this time that Schumacher's actually managed to get that position. But Ricciardo, he's still having a look down the left-hand side there, but there's really no room, and around the outside there is not the place to be passing. So Ricciardo's now dropped back into 13th place, and Mick Schumacher's up to 12th. So now we're looking at Charles Leclerc. Remember, he had that damage in that early pit stop early on, and Hamilton pitted at the same time. So now Leclerc is again starting to come back through the field, and so he's got past Latifi there, and now he's got Oscar Piastri in his sights on lap 7, and he's going to have a look up the inside of him there. That's actually a really ballsy place to try and pass. It's not really a passing zone, but I think Piastri didn't fight him for it. I think he understands that there's just only risk of getting damage to the car there if he tries to fight. Leclerc's just going to come through. But now he's come up behind Albon. Now we're on lap 7. And Albon, he's gone wide there. But Leclerc had already taken off all of his speed. And he didn't actually capitalise on the opportunity. And so, yeah, he didn't actually manage to make the pass. Now we're back on board with us here. So we're coming towards the end of lap 7, which is where we were intending to do our first pit stop. We've got ourselves from 22nd up to 11th place, which is a great start. And we're just going to see now as we come into the pits, and we put on another set of soft tyres. And there's no wing change here. We haven't hit anything. We've actually had a nice clean race so far. So we're coming out of the pits, but look, we're back now to the last place. So I'm not sure whether this strategy is working. Now, admittedly, everybody has one more pit stop to do, so you would think, okay, then we're back in sync with everybody else, but we've got soft tyres on. So here's Leclerc having another go at Albon, and I think he's actually managed to get him this time. So we're on lap 8 now. Leclerc's up into position 17. We're in position 22 again, but we are on soft tyres, and everybody else is on worn mediums, apart from Leclerc, who's coming back into the pits. So he actually made his softs last 7 laps as well. And that's Hamilton coming in behind him there. So they're both coming into the pits for their second stops to get rid of their soft tyres. And so Leclerc's put hard tyres on, so I think, and so has Hamilton. So I think they're both intending to go the rest of the race on those tyres. I'm now getting even more nervous about my strategy, because if a lap ago I'd put hard tyres on, we probably could have gone all the way to the end of the race. But anyway, we're now watching Sebastian Vettel. Now he's coming up behind Lance Stroll. Now this is the sort of thing to give the elder Stroll an absolute heart attack. His blood pressure's probably going through the roof, thinking, how is his driver's going to behave? And yet Vettel's come up alongside him. They haven't hit each other yet, but if I were the elder Stroll, I'd be very, very worried there. But in the end, Vettel's managed to make it stick, and he's done it clean. There's no damage to the cars. But the way that he's pulling away there, you can see he's already pulling away from Stroll. And now Stroll's fallen into the clutches of Albon. I think Stroll's got a problem. I don't know whether it's damage to the floor or damage to something, because he hasn't come into the pits to fix it. But, you know, he should be faster than the Williams, and he's got Piastri also behind him. He's holding up 2 Williamses and an Aurora Australis car. And I do think he's got a problem. So here we are back on that back straight again, and I think that Albon's just going to drive past him here. Yeah, he's doing it easy. He had the DRS and probably used some ERS as well. And so he's made that overtake stick, and he's off into the distance now. And so now, if you would have seen there while we were watching that before, you would have seen that Yuki Tsunoda has DNF'd, and there is why. That quick puff of smoke from his engine is gone. So that's a Red Bull power unit, and it's gone. And so I don't know what's going on with this game and this season, because I don't think we've had a race yet where we've had less than 2 people blow up their engines. We're only in the 5th race. It's just astounding how many engine blow-ups we've had in this game so far. And touch wood that we haven't had one yet. We came really, really close in that Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, but we managed to get it over the line. And then you can see now we've gone past Nicholas Latifi there, and we've got our sights now set on Lance Stroll. And you can see we're hauling him in. Now, admittedly, we've got soft tyres on, but they've been on there for 4 or 5 laps now. But in the end, we just drove past him easy. He didn't even fight. He just stuck there to the outside. We managed to go on the inside and straight past him. So now on lap 13, we're coming up behind Oscar Piastri. He will probably let us go here. But we've gone wide, and he's come back on our inside there looking for the switchback. But this is not the place to get caught there. This tight little section here isn't really an overtaking zone. And now we're back looking at the front of the grid. So out of second place of the race, on the end of lap 13, Max Verstappen's come into the pits. So I think this is a trifle early, this pit stop. But they don't appear to be doing a nose change, so it just seems to be this is his pit stop. He's come in on at the end of lap 13 onto lap 14. And so yeah, Bottas is coming in, so all of the leader drivers now are coming in. So lap 13 looks like where they were going to pit. So that means that Verstappen now, he's actually managed to stay in 4th place simply because of the sheer lead that top group had managed to get over everybody else. So he's come out in 4th place, but you can see now he's actually 17 seconds behind Perez in 3rd. But you've got to remember that Sainz, Russell and Perez have yet to pit. So we'll see how the pit stop goes. Is this going to be... 2 cars! So I've noticed that the exit of these pits, the racing line actually... Oh, yeah, there was nowhere for Alonso to go there. And I think is that Latifi that's hit him? It's certainly a Williams. And so I'm not actually sure who it was that hit him there, which Williams it was. But he's hit him, but there's nowhere to go. And just seeing now that George Russell's come out of the pits and he's in front of Verstappen. So Verstappen has actually lost out in this round of pit stops. The overcut has worked for George Russell, and he's now up into 2nd place of the race. And Verstappen's all over the back of him, but he's stuck there behind now. And so now we're back looking at Leclerc again. He's coming up behind us. And he takes 5th place. So you've got to remember, he's worked his way up from essentially last, or second last, because both he and Hamilton pitted at the same time. So he's worked his way up to 5th place, and he doesn't have to pit again. He's staying on those tyres. And he's had to go past us. Then we've come and had another go at him at the end of the straight there. And we've managed to take that place back. So we're back up to 5th place now. And he's still behind us, and he really doesn't have to be too aggressive here, because he'll come onto this straight, he'll have the DRS, he'll use a bit of ERS, and there he goes. DRS is open. We're not even halfway down the straight, and he's already in front of us because of that jump that they get when they come out of slow speed corners. Now we look like we're going to have another go at him, but there's no chance to there. And our tyres, we put them on at the end of lap 7. We're now on to lap 16, and yeah, we're coming in. So we actually pushed them a little bit further for the second stint, but we've pushed them as far as we can. So now we've got to come in for our pit stop to put the hard tyres on. And look, that back left tyre, they had trouble getting it off there. That's cost us a couple of seconds. So we're that 2 seconds in the pit stop. Now that's the thing we're trying to buy, that upgrade in our headquarters and our pit equipment, so that we don't get that happening too much. So hopefully by the time we get to the next race, the chances of that sort of thing happening will be minimised, or if they do happen, they'll actually be not as bad. So anyways, we're back down in 16th place again, which is better than last, and now we're coming up the inside of Albon there, passing him again, and we do that one fairly nicely. That's worked really well for us. Now we're up to lap 21 of the race, and we're coming up to try and get 14th place by passing Zhou Guan Yu. Now he's gone to the left to make us go round to the outside there. We're riding on board with him now. And it doesn't matter. So we've given him racing room. He's still gone a bit to the right and tapped wheels with us. But there's no damage done, and we've taken the position. So now we're on lap 23 and trying to pass Sebastian Vettel. And we do that one easy. So that gets us up to 15th place. There's 6 laps to go in the race. And hopefully we can gain a few more places. But now we're looking back at the front of the pack. So you can see Sainz has managed to build up a 5.5 second lead over George Russell. What's happened there? It didn't look like the Verstappen anything was happening, but they've come out of that corner, and Verstappen's actually alongside him there. Is he going to actually manage to take second place? He has! He's taken second place. Now you've got to remember, he's in second place in the championship, so he doesn't want Carlos Sainz to get too many points ahead of him. But it doesn't matter, because we're still on lap 25, and Russell's coming back at him at the end of the straight again. Verstappen tries to squeeze him to the right there under brakes, but you're not really supposed to be moving under brakes there. And Verstappen couldn't do much about it. Russell's managed to get back into second place, and there are now only 3 laps left in the race. And yeah, Russell's now in second, and it looks like he's starting to pull away. And here we have, oh no, it's another one. Another engine has gone. This time it's the Renault power that the Alpines are using. But that's bad news for Ocon. He was right up in the points, 6th place, with Leclerc chasing him, but he might have managed to stay ahead. But anyways, it doesn't matter. Sainz has won the race. The smooth operator has managed to win the Grand Prix. George Russell in the end was over 9 seconds behind, but he takes second place, just over half a second ahead of Max Verstappen. Perez comes in 4th. Charles Leclerc has managed to pull this thing all the way back up into 5th place after having that early damage and pit stop and having to work his way back up. And then another 30 seconds back is Bottas, who managed to get past Lando Norris on the last lap. He leads home a gaggle of 6 cars, and then we come in 12th place. So there's no points, but remember we started in 22nd.
Here we are then, a phenomenal Miami Grand Prix, and what a great show of skill from our race winners today. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. See what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Carlos Sainz extends his lead at the top, getting ever closer to securing the championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I have to give it to Ava. They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. There was also a strong showing from the McLaren team today as they make their way up the standings. Well, that certainly was an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
So that's another race run and done. And as I said before, no points for this one, and that means that McLaren has actually managed to claw back a bit. So we're only ahead of them by a point, and Haas has actually jumped ahead of us in the constructors now. We're still staying in 10th place in the Drivers' Championship, but Norris, who I think is probably going to wind up being our main rival, has actually managed to catch us a bit. And if you look at that, Lewis Hamilton only managed to get up to 9th place, so only got 2 points. That means that George Russell has actually jumped ahead of him in the championship now. The gap between the first 2 and 3rd place has come right down, although Carlos Sainz has extended his lead. He is having a phenomenal season. But you've got to wonder what's happening with Charles Leclerc, because he's set at pole position, and he keeps doing that. He's obviously the fastest car on the track, but he either has an accident or his team has a strategy mind explosion, or something just keeps going wrong with him. I just can't believe what's happening with him in this season. So thank you for watching through to the end of this video or this episode. And please subscribe, hit the bell button so that you get notified when the next episode comes out. They come out about once a week. And I will catch you later.